Okay everybody, here we are, the very first one of the sets. Now before I go into this, obviously there's a lot to do, and what I've done this well, chart, so to speak, what you can see I've got up on the computer here. I've done this on purpose because to be honest with you, the actual numbering of the Triang and then Triang Hornby sets was a little bit confusing really, so I've done this chart to try and make it a little bit easier for you. I've got the camera on a tripod so I can try and explain everything and point things out to you. Right, if you look at the row along the top here, we've got R0 all the way to R8. Now it's quite funny because R0 is actually the first item, and now we're in the age of electronics and digital. 0 is always the first item now, and yet Triang were doing that back in the 1950s. Interesting nevertheless. Right, so obviously we've got set 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then they started the sets again, and this time they did it as RA, RB, RC, etc, etc, all the way up to RN, and there was some letters in between missing, like there's no RI, etc. Now some of these sets, if you imagine there's a parallel line down there, some of these sets actually were the same, apart from sometimes a slight change. Now if they are identical but they've got different track, I'm not going to redo them, it would be pointless. But some of them, even though they did have different tracks, some of them, they actually also had, how can I explain this? Yeah, a change of the rolling stock. So for argument's sake, if that was say a Ginty and a couple of coaches, then that one might be exactly the same with a different track, which then would be no point in running it. But if that one was say a Ginty and 4 Guardswagons, and that one was a Ginty and 4 Guardswagons, but the Guardswagons were different, then it's worth me actually doing it, and I'll do that and explain to you as I go along. Now a lot of these numbers had the letter X on them, and I've not included them because all that meant was the X meant it had an inbuilt controller with the set and the track. If it didn't have the X, generally speaking, it didn't have a controller, and you had to use a separate one. So I shan't bother with the X, it starts getting completely ridiculous if you do. The third line, as you'll see, starts again, but this time it was R3A, 3B and so on, and basically that means that's when the Series 3 track started. So again, like I say, those first 3 sets could actually be identical, or they may have and or different rolling stock, or in an odd occasion a different locomotive or different named locomotive of the same. I think that one's obviously Princess Elizabeth. I think that R3A might be Princess Victoria, but you get me drift on that, and of course again I will explain everything as I go along. So we've got the first 3 sets of numbering, the R1s, the RAs, the R3As. Then they started to make sense of everything, and it changed. It went back to RS1 and 2 and all the way right up. That's supposed to be 3 there, look, it says 2 twice, I didn't spot that. Don't matter, I've got it in order anyway, there's number 4. Never mind. Yeah, anyway, it goes from 1 right down to 79, so that's a lot of sets. So I think the best plan of attack on all of this now is to do, for the first this first video, do the first 8, the very first 8 to there, and then on the second video I'll do all of the ABC series right to the end, so that that's like 8, 9, 10, that would be 11 to feature in the second video. The same again on there, I might as well go and try and do all 11 on the third version, third part of the videos, but then I think I'm going to have to split this up into at least 4 different videos. So there you go, that's basically, if you followed all that, that's the Triang numbering system for you. Alright folks, here we go, first one. Right, let me just show you quickly. This very top set here is the Gaumages set, early Rovex and Gaumages set. That they are identical to this Rovex set here, which are actually identical to R0, which is the one we're going to start with. The only difference that these did have was the type of track connectors, and also the original Princess Elizabeth had the plunger pickups, so there's no point in going through those, but we're going to start here, which is Princess Elizabeth, and I'm just going to click that and just scroll down to there, and it says it consists of a Black Princess, 2 LMS coaches, first and third, and we're not bothered about the track or the controller, so let's go and do it. Yes! So then gang, in order for us to do this, first of all we need R50, original Black Princess, we need R30, the crested tender, the first crest, the early line crest, and we need 2 of R20, which is that one which is first class. You can just about see it. Not in terribly good condition, these are. They're not bad, but they're not worth any money anyway. And then we need another R20, but this time third class, which that one is. So we'll put it all together, and number one is about to go. Hang in there. And there she is, coupled up, the very first set. Absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you something about this in a minute. It brings back a lot of memories for me. So I'm having to run her on the inside line, by the way, because those wheel flanges there, they won't run on the later track. So away we go. Oh, hey, I'm not on track. Hang on. That's not like me. I didn't spot that one. Right, take two. That loco is over 60 years old, guys. That is old. And it's still going as good as the day it was made, look. Look at that, guys. Wow. Still sounds the same. Bloody perfect. Absolutely perfect. Amazing. Superb. Let's bring her into the station. Oh, that's incredible. I mean, look at that. All those years old and it still crawls. Great old Princess Creek with it. Brilliant. Bloody brilliant. Right, I'm going to tell you a story now. And I know I'm going to give the age away, but I don't care anyway, because I'm like a kid. I feel like a kid and I act like a kid. Right, Christmas morning, 1960, I was 10 years old. I came down on that Christmas morning and found my first ever train set. And this was it. Not the actual one, obviously, 'cause God knows where that went. I'll tell you about that some other time. But yeah, that was my very first set ever. And that was the thing that Dad got for me, that got me into model railway back in 1960. Wow, such great memories. Alright, well, we're going to look into number two now, set RS1, which is actually set number two. And before I do, by the way, just mention to you that the very first Princess, it had roller pickups, and it's worth about £2,000. If you've got one of them, you're lucky. The second one had the plunger pickups, which I mentioned a bit earlier on this video, and they're worth a couple of £100. This is the first one where they used the solid wheels, because the first two actually had plastic wheels, and they had to have a lot of weight in them to keep them down. But this is the most successful one, where they turned to the cast wheels, and then of course the picking up from the wheels, as nearly everything is nowadays. So there you go, guys. That's the first one. Back in a few seconds. Rightio folks, it's number two. Now, as I said to you, the first one you've just seen was R0, which is number one. So R1, which is this one, is the second one. And it says here, the R1 set was introduced in 1952 and contained a black Princess and Tender and two 7-inch maroon and cream coaches. So there was a change in the coaches for this number two set. I'll explain in a minute. So, as set number two, being R1, as only a change of coaches, it's worth pointing out to you what that change was. They changed them from R20 here, which are a 6-inch coach, which you've just seen, to R21, which is that one, which actually is an inch longer, look. Okay, so they became 7-inch coaches, red and cream, and they were numbered R21, and it simply had two of them identical. Now, whether I can put these on while I'm looking at the wheels and the camera at the same time, I'll have a bash. Oh, that one's gone on. Right, okay. Can we get the next one on? I'd rather do this actually than keep stopping the camera if I can get them on without making too much of a hassle of it. Okay, yeah, we're on. So there you go. R1. Same locomotive with two 7-inch coaches rather than 6 inches, and again, like I say, numbered R21. So take two for this one. No, take one for this one. Right, there she goes. And I tell you what, even after this 60 years, she's still not a slow coach. Look at that. And I'm nowhere near right up with the control. I'll give her a little bit of a blast for you. Watch we don't get her off the track. There we go. Yep, not slow. She's still not right up even at that. Whoa! Superb! Right. Ooh, come on girl, slow down girl. Slow down. So there you have it guys. That's number 2 R1 set with 2 7-inch cream and red coaches. Right, back with the next one in a few seconds. Moving on now to R2, which is the third set, as I explained earlier. Right, this is a real easy peasy one to do because I've only got to change the loco. And as you can see on the screen, it says there the R2X set. Now remember, the X I mentioned earlier is not relevant to the actual loco or the rolling stock. It's just referring to the controller involved in the set. So basically the R2 set was introduced in 1952 and contained a Ginty and 2 7-inch maroon coaches, which was identical to what was in the very first set with the Black Princess. So let's go and do it. Right then everybody, now as the Ginty and in this particular set, as the Ginty is the only change on the loco, still featuring the original 2 6-inch coaches, which I showed to you earlier, R20, first and third class there. I've left the Princess on with the maroon and cream ones, sorry, red and cream ones. I've left that on because we might as well have her running in the background really, because well, why not, it's nice. So we just leave her running steady in the background. And so, okay, we're on to the Ginty now, with this set. Now, I will just point out to you here that that Ginty there, on the original set, it would have had the same crest on the side as what you've seen here on the Princess Elizabeth tender, with the forward-facing lion. This Ginty is actually a slightly later one. Yes, I'm not cheating, I don't think the word cheating is right here, but it would be silly to go out and spend money on 2 different Gintys or 2 different princesses, blah blah blah, just so that it shows the correct crest of the time of the release of the set. So I hope you don't mind, because it seems to be a bit of a waste of money to be doing that. So anyway, what I have done, I've put her on the second radius, and the reason being because the flanges on this Ginty will run fine on second radius, and believe it or not, these 1950s coaches, they actually run fine on code 100, system 6, not a problem. It really isn't. So we'll do it. The Ginty. Steadier than that for you. There she is. That's how the set looked originally. While ever I can, I will always run 2 sets, or even 3 if it comes to that. And there you go. There they are. So that's R2, which is the third set. Good Ginty this one. It's in very good condition. Runs perfectly on code 100. And as I say, you can see those coaches are perfectly alright on modern track as well. The differences between all these issues with the flanges on the wheels and the new track and the old tracks and blah blah blah, it's always more the main loco, the heaviness and the weightiness of the loco that tends to be the problem on the flanges on modern track, where not so much the coaches. So there you go. There is R2 set number 3. Done and dusted. Back in a few minutes. Well, a few seconds, you know what I mean. Stop that there up. I think that they are the 2 most popular locomotives that were ever done. The Princess Elizabeth and the 3F Ginty. They are definitely the 2 most popular locos ever. There you go folks. I'll be back with the next bit in a few seconds. Bye. Yo guys, there's a little something interesting here I forgot to tell you. Well, I say interesting, I hope you find it interesting, especially some of you you guys out there who were in a similar position to myself back there in your younger days. Right, very simply this. You remember at the beginning I told you that my very first set, 1960, at 10 years old, was the Princess Elizabeth there, along with those two 6-inch maroon coaches, first and third, which it was. What I did forget to mention, it was not particularly important, but I'll tell you anyway. It was just an oval, round and round, but it had a controller which was a battery box, which took two of those lantern batteries, the ones with the curly springs on the top. It had 5 settings. You had off in the middle, then you had backwards slow, backwards fast, and then back to off in the middle, and forward slow and forwards fast. So that was it. And I got to tell you now, I remember my mum and dad saying to me the following year that I'd taken so much interest in that train, just watching it go round and round all those times, that they decided that they wouldn't be wasting money by buying me more train stuff, because I took such an interest in it. And that brings me to this next point, because in 1961, Christmas of 1961, when I got up that Christmas morning, I had not only the Ginty and 4 wagons, but the layout was now right round the dining room table. It took up half the room. So Mum and Dad had bought loads more stuff for me, and I was 11 years old, and wow, I remember it so well. Anyway, that's a good story, and it's also interesting because it's going to bring us right into the next video perfectly. And so this is the next part of the video. This time we're on set R3, which of course is set number 4, and this is the set that I had that Christmas morning. And I believe Dad had bought some even extra track as well, because we must have put both lots of track together, and I'm sure there was some extra track as well. He'd also built me a proper transformer to power it off the main supply rather than buying lantern batteries, which was great. That was a massive improvement. And as it says here, the R3 goods train set was introduced in 1953 and contained a Ginty, 4 wagons, R10 goods truck, R11 goods van, R16 brake van, and R17 bolster wagon. Now the thing is here, I think I'm pretty right in saying this. Although what you can see on the screen, the wagons are marked GW and NE, whatever, I don't think they always came the same. I think there might have been a variation on what actual wagons were put in and what the writing was on the side of them. Bearing in mind that these sets shown on this website here, which is fantastic anyway, they're not actually new sets, they're sets of photos which many people have sent into the website, and of course it might not be terribly accurate. I mean, I'm sure it is, but like I say, it may not be the exact same wagon from a colour or a region point of view. So, but then, yeah, that's it. This is R3. Now, I will just quickly show you here. Remember I mentioned the R3X? Well, this is the R3X, which has got the controller in it now, which is what mine had on that Christmas morning in 61. Dad had made a power supply, and of course the controller, which came with this set, give you proper full control without starting with just slow and fast. You had the full control of it. So there we go. Right, let's go and move this one onto the layout. And in order to be able to do this R3 set, we need one of those. We need one of those. We need one of those. And lastly, we need the Guardsman. So I'll get that all coupled up, and I'll be with you in a few seconds. Here you'll see that I've put the two 6-inch coaches back on Princess Elizabeth, as in, like I showed, that was set R0. I've done that for a reason. Again, I'm going to leave her running, just bear with me a tick, just leave her running round, because like I've just explained to you, these two were my first 2 sets. So while that's going round, take this one out. So there we go, we've still got the Ginty obviously. Then we've got the 7-plank open wagon, and we've got the goods wagon, the little bolster wagon, and then of course the NE Guardsman, brake van, whatever you call it, on the end. So that's R3 set, and we'll get that one going. Oh, I've got to tell you, these original triangle wagons here, the flanges are catching on the track, on the System 6 track there, you know, code 100. and they're rattling along those sleeper grips. Me don't matter, it's all good fun anyway. So here we go, set R3 with the Ginty. Oh, look at that, exactly how it looked, brilliant. I love it. Go on, get her again, here she comes, look. Yes, superb, really good. So we're up to the fourth set now then, guys, obviously like I say, number R3. So what I'll do, I'll stop the princess here again and just get that once more. Go round with her, disappearing at the back there. Okay, there she is, creaking away. You can hear those wheels rattling on those wagons as well. Great. So there we go, R3. I think the princess was for me, yes. There you go then, look. As I say, the wagons would have come almost certainly in different colours or different regions written on them. It would be down to, I think, what they were producing. If you've got to remember here, this is all early 50s stuff, and they didn't have a massive variety, so quite often coaches and wagons were repeated in different sets for that very purpose. So there we go, and we'll move on to the next one right away. Here, everyone, is where I really have cheated a little bit. Now, before you decide to slide your hand down and give me a thumbs down on this particular issue, let me explain first, and then decide afterwards if you think I really do need that thumbs down on this. So let me explain. Right, here we go. Set number 4 was called number 4, but it got changed to R4 eventually. It's a clockwork set. Now, I have no interest whatsoever in clockwork locomotives. They just do not interest me. And at this point in the video of creating this video, I thought, shall I do this or shall I not do it? And I thought probably better to do it than not, because it's as close as I'm going to get it. Now, I'll explain. The locomotive is an 062 tank, which I think is class N2, and it's got the same two maroon coaches that you've already seen a couple of times before. But what I've done to be able to recreate this more or less correctly is I've got the electric N2, and so I think the best thing to do is just run it, and then you decide afterwards if I've done the right thing. So let's go for it. And so here we are. Okay, like I said, it's not a clockwork loco. This is actually a mainline one, which is an ex-Airfix, and to be honest with you, I'm not a big Airfix locomotive fan. I've always found them rather noisy, but anyway, this is the one. It's better than not having anything at all. So like I say, she's electric, and I've put the two coaches on, as just explained. So we'll just get her running, and yeah, let's do it. Here we go. To say, other than being clockwork, this is how the set would have originally looked. Albeit the decals would probably be a damn sight more sparse, for want of a better expression. You can hear how loud the loco is. But it's fine. It's doing the job. Gonna buy again. Little bit nippier. Yeah, typical Airfix sounding locomotive that. I must tell you, I did actually buy this one specially to do this. So I just didn't. I decided not to leave out the clockwork one. I wanted to do it. So there it is. Set number 4. There you go. All done and dusted. Back in another couple of seconds. Pretty much the same thing was done here. They used the same locomotive here in set number 5, R5. They used the same locomotive, the clockwork locomotive, the M2, and this time there was like simply 2 open wagons and two tank wagons, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, okay, we'll go and recreate this one as well. Dead simple to do. So here we have it, same loco. I've decided to put her on backwards this time, just to make a little bit of a change and send around the opposite way. So like on the in the catalogue and on the website, we've got 2 open wagons and 2 wagons, as they call them, just simply wagons. That last one actually is a bit of a later one. It's got the sliding doors on it, but it doesn't matter. It's, I say, because they came in different versions anyway. So yeah, okay, just a couple of times around with it. Yep. Yeah, looks the part well. Yeah, looks the part fine. Pretty cool. I definitely don't like the sound of it, it's locomotive. But it'll do. It'll do for this. So there we go then. That's set number 5, R5. 062T N2 tank. This mainline one actually is pretty nice look. I mean, it's pretty good detail. Do like the N2. Yeah, really nice. And the 4 wagons. There we go. So that's that one done with, and I'll get on to the next bit rather soon. This is where things really started hotting up, especially if you were a kid back in 1952. This set now became called the Rich Uncle set. It's R6, which is the number 7 that we're doing today. I say Rich Uncle set purely because it was the biggest set they ever did. And it would have been expensive back in its day. It featured, I'll read to you, it contained a Black Princess loco, which is Princess Elizabeth yet again, but this time there's 3 7-inch coaches, and although we're not really interested in whatever comes in the sets, I'm only doing the rolling stock and the locomotive, it's got to be worth pointing out to you that this contained a signal box, a station set, a waiting room, station fence, an oval of track, and the battery controller. And it says this major set was the biggest ever made, was released in 1952 and became known as the Rich Uncle set due to its cost. The track included the very short-lived 8.5-inch standard track straight. I remember that actually. So yeah, so this one's not going to be hard to recreate. I'll go and do that right this minute. And so back to Princess Elizabeth again, along this time as the Rich Uncle set with 3 of the R21 coaches. That's how it looks to look, that's how it would have been. Now I'm going to tell you, these coaches, I have cleaned and oiled all the wheel bearings and axles, or bearings if you can call them bearings really. I've cleaned and oiled everything, but I tell you now, the Princess Elizabeth is struggling to pull the 3 of them with that much drag on these old Triang coaches. I'll show you what I mean. She's probably going to wheel spin a bit. Oh, not too bad. Right, yeah, I think the oil's getting through a little bit actually. But I will just point out to you this 3rd one, you can probably see it's banana shaped. Yeah, I'm afraid that's how a lot of them went. Because at the time on these very early Triang stuff, they were using, is it acetone or acetate plastic, something like that. And it tended to warp when it was, you know, in the sunlight or anything like that. So that 3rd coach is not as good as the other 2. It's also got no windows in it, as in it's got no perspex inside, but it doesn't matter. It does the job to show it off how it used to be for those kids that were treated by the rich uncles. So yeah, let's just go for it. Haha, one time. Yeah, she's wheel spinning a little bit, but we'll get there. Too bad. There you go. 3 R21 coaches, and yet another appearance for Princess Elizabeth. Yeah, I never had a Rich Uncle. I never had this set. It's taken me all these years to get it. Yeah, seriously, I bought 1 or 2 of these bits to be able to do these videos for you. The coaches aren't worth a lot of money, they don't make a lot of money. But at least it looks authentic, and at least that's how it was. So with that, I'm going to call it a day for now, because it's been a long day for me, and I'll pick up and carry on tomorrow and edit the rest together as well. So see you in a bit, guys. Back soon. She's trying, look. Look at that, look. Oh yeah. Wheel spin. and you just love it. There we go. Yeah, I'll do some more tomorrow. See you soon. Well, I've had a good night's sleep and I'm back on the case, and here we are with set R7. This one was a bit of a game changer. This was the very first time we see anything from triangle in the shape of continental. This set featured the transcontinental Pacific loco and tender, and 2 of the transcontinental silver Mark 1 coaches. So I'll go and put this one together right now. As I've said a couple of times going through this video, to be able to recreate this one, being the first of the transcontinentals ever, we need R54, which is there, the loco, and R32, it's tender there, which I've already changed the wheels on. You probably saw that in my last video. We're using the transcontinental locos. And then we need R24, which is that one, to go there, and then we need R25, which is, hold still John, that one we're on. Right, okay, that's it then. There we go. R32 the tender, R54 the loco, R24 and R25. They're the original Mark 1 silver coaches without the red stripe, I might add. So okay, let's get it going. Oh, we're not coupled. I'm being cocky again. Oh, can you believe that? Come on. Oh well, do it by hand. The terrible, horrible Mark II couplings there on those coaches. I hate those couplings. Right, we're on. Let's go for it. Come on. Tiny bit of wheel spin. I mean, the drag on those coaches is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it really is ridiculous. I've oiled them, obviously, but you can hear them rattling and bouncing along on the modern track. Yeah, wicked. Yeah, big deal anyway. All adds to the fun. Shaking and rattling they are. I mean, I'm not going to change the wheel on those because the coaches just aren't worth it. I'm just not going to bother. I won't be using them that often. Yep. It sounds great. Alright, we'll bring it to a stop just here. Last time around. Right then. Yes, look at that. Again, that's a 55-year-old locomotive. Yeah, she's just wheel spinning a tad, look. She's trying to get those coaches round the curves now, look. That's it, we're off. Alright, that'll do anyway. Right, so there you go then. That's the first of the transcontinental ones from Triang. Back shortly. And just a couple of points here before we go into the last video of this first of the series. These coaches, these early coaches from Triang, what you've seen throughout this video, which are those there obviously. I've just come back up here gently, and then of course those two that you've just seen there. I had some, but I didn't have them all, so I've actually gone out my way and bought these to be able to do these videos for you. I wasn't really that bothered about collecting them, and they don't fetch any money at all. You know, they're only a couple, 2, 3, 4 quid each or something like that, pretty cheap. But what I will tell you though is a lot of these have come from a really great seller on eBay. He goes by the name of John O'Reilly 1, so that's JOHNO REILLY 1, the number 1. Go and check out his listings. He's always got loads of good stuff for sale, prices are good, and he's a really nice guy to talk to on the phone as well. So go and check out John O'Reilly number 1's listings on eBay. And lastly, before I say we do the last part of the video, I'm going to make myself out now to be a right bloody idiot. I'm going to ask you to cast your minds back to the beginning of the video when I was showing you the model numbers of these sets, how they were all a bit strange what Triang was doing originally. And I pointed out specifically that the very first sets started from R0 to R8. And then a little further after that I said, oh well, best to do is to do all 8 in this first part of this series, and then do 11 on the next one and so on. And like an idiot, R0 is the first one, so it's actually 9 items, not 8. So what a twat. Anyway, when I come to do number 2, as soon as I can for you, it will be featuring 12 of that second lot of numbers, what they use, the RA, RB, blah blah blah, not 11, it'll be 12. Here, last but not least, of the 9 sets, starting with R0 to R8. This is R8, and this is also staying in the theme of Transcontinental, where they used the same locomotive as R7, but this time it became a freight train with the 3 wagons, as you can see. So I'll go and do this one, and this will be the finale of this part 1 video. Here we go then, everybody. This is the last one of the sets videos part 1, and we need R54, which is the Transcontinental Pacific, and it's tender obviously, and then we need R16, which is that one, and R15, which is that one, and R14, which is that one. And that's how the set was. Again, Transcontinental, but this time as a freight train, so we'll just get her moving. Oh, if you've seen the Transcontinental stuff I've done before on my channel, you'll probably remember I've changed all the wheels on all my Transcontinental stock to the beautiful metal ones, RP25, so they're absolutely great. They run quiet, smooth, and they're dead easy to pull now. So let's we'll take a round a couple of times, show you. And I've also done the front headlights myself in these locos, if you haven't seen them before on any of my other videos. Great light on them, look at that. Superb, man, superb. That really does look cool. So set R8 or R8X, you have the controller, yes, we know about that. There's one more run round, speed up a bit. Oh, looks fantastic. That's just how the set look. Brilliant. Okay, we'll park her up. One runs great. I've got 3 of these and they all run superb. And if you haven't seen them in my video about all the Transcontinental stuff, steamers, I did a triple-headed version pulling all the Transcontinental stock. So there you go. That's it, guys. That's the last one then in this video, part 1 of all the sets from Triang and Hornby Rovex all the way from the beginning. So I hope you enjoyed the show. I will just point out to you that a couple of things. Yeah, it's worth running them by you. This has obviously worked out a lot longer than I expected it to. Yeah, I thought 15-20 minutes obviously wasn't going to be enough. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it properly and accurately, or as best as I possibly can, and I'm not going to cut any corners. So I hope you've enjoyed the show, the video. I was also going to point out too that, as you've probably realised, that a lot of the locomotives got reused. Princess Elizabeth, I think, appeared 3 times in this video, and of course back there in the 50s they were limited to the amount of stock what they got. But as the videos progress and we go to the next set, which is the A, B, C, D blah blah set, then you'll find that things will become more colourful and there'll be more variation in not only the rolling stock but the locomotives as well. Then when we get onto the final videos, well, there's a lot of differences between them. So there we go, that's it, guys. I'll do part 2 when I can. Pretty busy at the moment, but we'll see how it all goes. Thanks again for everything and all your support. Be good, take good care of each other. Good night, God bless, bye.